Despite an avalanche of title fights, UFC's biggest splash this winter may be the newest addition to its roster. Welcome into MMA Live Extra. I'm Phil Murphy. He is soon to be UFC debutant, Phil Brooks. Phil, it was recently announced that you are joining the UFC. What made you decide to pursue an MMA career?
The challenge. I'm no stranger to making everybody mad, but that really didn't have any bearing on my decision. I don't want to call it a bucket list thing either, because that makes it sound like it's a one and done. Just in the spirit of competition, to push myself to find out if I am able to do it, even though I believe I am. And like I said, it's a mountain to climb.
Well, good or bad, there's been a lot of conversation about your decision to join the UFC. What's been your reaction to that?
I mean, any kind of press is good press, I suppose. Try to be a positive guy, so I hold on to the positive. I've had a lot of awesome fighters go out of their way to make me feel welcome when they don't have to. And then, conversely, there's guys that aren't happy with the decision, and I understand all perspectives. It's interesting. When
you knew you wanted to fight, what were the initial conversations like between you and the UFC?
I think I had a few initial conversations in passing, like, hey, is this ever something that you thought about doing? And I think if I think if you're a human being, I think fighting is something that you've thought about. I could be off base on that, but it's definitely something that I've always thought about. So the first couple of conversations were pretty lighthearted, like, hey, when are you going to get in the Octagon? And obviously everybody, my entire career, has always asked me, oh, when are you gonna do that? So it almost is just it just made sense.
As far as the debut itself, what's a timetable looking like for you to actually step into the cage?
You gonna hold me to this? Is everyone gonna hold me to this?
We'll see. It's on the internet.
Yeah, we're saying 2015, which is very vague, but that's kind of how we want to keep it right now. It's 100% up to me when I feel like I'm as ready as I'm gonna get, without pushing it to 2016. So it'll probably be at the earliest fall, latest, sometime around this time next year.
The inevitable comparison, especially amongst casual MMA fans, for a guy making the WWE to UFC jump is Brock Lesnar.
Sure.
What can you take away from his path and his success in the UFC that will help you in your transition?
How he dealt with the negativity. I mean, Brock's a lot like me in the respect that he doesn't care what people think of him. He knew he had a goal in front of him, and he put it in front of him, and he was challenged to see if he could do it, and he did it, obviously. And I feel the same way. So I'm kind of I'm not patterning anything I'm doing after what Brock did. We're two different people, two different animals. He came from NCAA wrestling and all that, and it's just the whole attitude of, yeah, I get it. You're mad that I'm here. You're upset. I haven't earned the UFC fight yet, but my goal is to prove everybody wrong, and I think that was Brock's mentality too.
Have you and Brock had any conversations about that?
No, not yet. I haven't talked to Brock in a couple months, but he's holed up somewhere in Saskatoon, so he's hard to get a hold of.
Everyone wants to know where you'll be training. Where do you stand on picking a gym and a trainer?
Well, I want to train with the best. I need a comfortable but not comfortable environment, if that makes any sense to anybody out there. But staying close to home is also important, but I'm willing to kind of uproot everything and move too. So, again, vague answer, up in the air.
You performed in front of tens of thousands of fans in your previous line of employment. How do you think entering the Octagon will compare to walking down into the squared circle?
I think the pressure will be monumental, but it's nothing that I've not experienced before. I think being in front of that many people, and there's something that they call Octagon shock when you get in there and you kind of look around like, oh man, I'm really here, and I got these gloves on, and I'm really about to get punched in the face here. I think those jitters will be there, but there will be substantially less than somebody who has never performed in front of almost 90,000 people at one time. So I'll be able to handle and manage the crowd, I think, better than most people making their UFC debut.
So in your mind, what will be the biggest obstacle to the transition?
The biggest obstacle? I'm not afraid of the hard work, so that's not it. Honestly, I just think getting past all the naysayers, and once I'm dialed in and I have a fight, people are going to get mad that I'm going to say it's going to be easy at that point. But I'm not afraid of the hard work. I'm not afraid of the prospect of getting punched in the face. I think people need to understand how often I got punched in the face in my old job anyway. A lot of people keep telling me, oh, you know, the UFC's real. And obviously I knew that. So, you know, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about how far along I already am and where I'm going to be in 6, 8, 10 months. The hardest thing will probably undoubtedly be the week before the fight, you know, nerves, jitters, weight cut.
Phil, appreciate the time. Best of luck in that upcoming debut.
Oh, come on, luck's for losers, Phil.
For more news from across the UFC and all of mixed martial arts, keep it locked right here at ESPN.com/MMA. For Phil CM Punk Brooks, I am merely Phil Murphy. Thanks for watching.